Hey, I'm Tim Lane. I'm here, and today, with the essence of MMA, I bring to you one of my favorite fighters of all time, Sugar Ray Sefo. And we're gonna learn today how he got started in martial arts, and you'll hear it only here on the essence of MMA. Ray, how old were you when you started martial art? What martial art was it, and why did you start martial arts?
Martial arts in itself, I think I actually did Wing Chun Kung Fu for when I was 12. But if I was to talk about combat sports, if you will, I go back. My first boxing gloves was when I was 5. My father gave me my first boxing gloves when I was 5. And my father, my grandfather, cousins, uncles, everybody boxed in my family. And so that was the first. So at 5 years old, it's probably where I started.
Oh, that's definitely where you started.
Right? And of course, at 5 years old, I'm sparring my cousins that were 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I handled myself well.
Samoan family. Yes.
Exactly. And then I think at the age of 7, my father had rented a movie. I don't even think he realized it was Bruce Lee, and another movie of Jackie Chan. And of course, my dad loves martial arts movies and pro wrestling and all that kind of thing. So and I watched it and I fell in love with it. And so at the age of 7, I think was when I had the first, or when I seen what martial arts was on television. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, this is truly amazing. So right then and there, I was so fascinated that I wanted to learn how to kick and throw punches and throw knees and elbows and everything else that was that they were doing on TV. And so at the age of 12, I started this, I worked for this milk run company with delivering milk. And that's how I paid my tuition to start martial arts. And the rest is history.
And you started competing. You put the gloves on first with your family at 5.
Right.
You start Kung Fu at 12. And when do you go into competition of a sanctioned bout?
Well, even in Kung Fu, we did 2-day sparring, 2 days throughout the week of Kung Fu sparring.
Okay.
And then my first sanctioned bout was a kickboxing fight, because I did Wing Chun Kung Fu for 6 years, and then switched from that to Muay Thai.
So you're 18, 19?
Right. So at the age of 18, at the age of 18, I had my first sanctioned amateur Muay Thai fight, kickboxing fight.
Knockout?
Second round.
I knew it. I already knew that.
And and the guy had 5 or 6 fights. That was my first. So, I was nervous, but I was also somewhat excited. Call me crazy or not, but and I was so nervous. But as soon as the gloves started swinging, it was a wrap. I somehow felt comfortable in there. Somehow I was in my element. I was at home. You know what I mean? Exactly. So then I fought another amateur fight, and my third amateur fight, I fought for the amateur title, which I won, and then turned pro. And when I turned pro, I challenged the champion. And my coach
in New Zealand.
And my coach Lolo Muli was like, okay, we can make that happen. And the champion, I think, had 27. I believe he had 27 wins with 2 or 3 losses, something like that.
A lot of experience.
As a pro, right. And that was my first pro fight. And I hurt him in the first round. He ran for the rest of the fight, and I won that title. And,
Nice.
And then I think the next title, we challenged for the South Pacific title. Knocked him out in a minute and a half in the first round. And then we challenged for the oscillation title. Won that by knockout as well. And
Right hand, left.
so it was one or the other. So that's how the martial arts combative side started, and then went on to win 6 world titles. And 2010, I was inducted into the Martial Arts Masters Hall of Fame
For the first time.
for the first time. Excuse me for a second. And then 2011, I was inducted into the USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame. So
Yes.
it was and
Well deserved, by the way.
well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But the thing is, winning a world title was huge to me. Let alone winning 6 world titles. But the title that actually meant the most was my first amateur title. I think because
Third fight.
right, correct.
Yeah.
I think because that feeling of being a champion was I had felt that already, and then suddenly I'm winning this title and that title and then after a while I was like,
Fight.
it's just another fight, exactly. But it's almost kind of like having my son the first time I had my child was, wow, it really opened up my eyes and understanding what true love was. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that when I think about becoming a champion for the first time. Obviously, having my son is way bigger and way more important. But that was kind of like the feeling.
Up to that time in your life, that was
right, exactly. And so so then when you win all these titles, but then you get inducted into to the Hall of Fame as a Hall of Famer, that blew my mind too, because I never ever thought that was possible, right? So I thank all my peers, all the martial artists out there, and that voted for me, and that it allowed for me to be inducted. It was truly amazing.
That's beautiful. Well, you definitely deserve that.
Thanks, brother.
Ray, what kind of principles have you taken from the martial arts that you've used to be in a pinstripe suit in the office? I mean, you're doing something.
Right.
You're doing something that a lot of fighters really want to make sure that they do in their lives, which is to have something else to fall back on when they retire from competition.
Right.
What kind of principles have you used that you're in a suit and you're behind a desk, and that's taken your life to success as you had in the ring?
It's ironic because I hate being in a suit and being in an office. When I say that, I mean like as I was growing up, and because I've always been an outgoing kid or outgoing person, and always loved to be on the go and on the move. The fortunate part about what my job is, being in a suit and behind a desk, is that I don't have to be in a suit every day, and the team here at Warriors of Fighting is just here is just truly amazing, and I gotta turn my volume down so I can focus. But no, the answer to your question is pretty simple. It's all the principles and values and things that I learned through martial arts, like discipline, confidence, priorities, being motivated, and loving yourself and the people around you, and all these things that I've learned throughout martial arts and throughout my life. It's pretty much what I've applied here in the business side of things. Obviously, this is something I had to learn as well and understand and how to deal with people, because again, when you're in a training camp, you're selfish, and so you have to be, because you're the one that's putting your body, so in yourself in the cage or in the ring. You know what I mean? And so there's a point where you become selfish, and especially when you're in training camp. But in sitting behind a desk and being the president and a matchmaker, you have to think about everything else that's around you, from everybody in the office to everybody on show night
Thinking about
or fight
everybody
week.
else as
Right.
opposed to just self from fighting.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? And so all those things you just gotta understand, and I've learned as this whole process is moved forward. But everything is, like I said, everything is a learning experience. But as long as it's a positive learning experience, then you're moving forward, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've only heard great things about you and your company. I know you from the gym. We know
Thank
each other
you.
for a long time now,
Right.
but everybody always speaks very highly about you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Ray, tell us a story outside of fighting, outside of the gym, that you possibly may have used your martial arts to either help yourself or help others, but outside of competition. Could be silly, serious, or whatever.
It's I'm always using martial arts to, help myself. No, but this is a funny story. It was actually in LA. I'm at a club. Myself, a couple of my brothers and cousins, and the club was closing as we were walking out. There was like a group of guys. There would probably be about 7 or 8 of them, picking on this one guy, and then one guy hit him, and the guy dropped, and then I realized there was a whole group versus one guy. So I ended up jumping in the middle of it, grabbed the guy, stood in front of him, and just told the rest of these other guys, I said, listen, there's an unfair match here. So let's just call it a quit. You guys just had a great night. I'm sure that I don't know what the situation is, but this guy's by himself. So let's leave it at that. And obviously this guy, a couple of them will be, this and that and whatever. I'm like, okay, well now you're making me make a choice, and that choice is I'm going to protect this guy from you guys. So needless to say that at the end of that whole incident, I knocked out 4 of them. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And saved this guy, and then obviously there was, and it wasn't like they were drunk either. I mean, obviously they had a couple of drinks or a few drinks, but these guys, exactly, these guys were picking on one guy, and they felt much more stronger because there was 8 of them versus 1, and I wasn't gonna stand around and see that happen, so I had to do something about it.
Yes, that's a bad night for them. That's beautiful. So, Ray, if you were to sum up the essence of MMA, what would you say about the essence of MMA?
Passion, love, discipline, motivation, and the hunger to want it. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
Because all of those elements make who we are as people. And when you have all those elements, it allows you to continue to live life and continue to move forward and continue to be positive, and also it allows you to help others that needs help, or someone on, one of the things that I do is that every single time I'm driving or I'm walking or whatever, and a homeless person comes up and asks for $1, I'll give him $10. And I always say, hey, go eat. Make sure you get something to eat. And 99.9% of the time, people get, man, God bless you. Someone that says that, they know exactly that, that these people really are seriously in trouble, and or struggling. Listen, we all have struggles in our lives. There's a lot of people out there, whether you look successful or just a normal guy at the gym or walking on the streets. But in reality, we all have our own struggles, and it's just a matter of, knowing how to fight through those and understand those and moving forward with it. You know what I mean? And so, those are the essence of what martial arts is.
Yes, yes. Well, Ray, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. And thank you for being a great role model, man. I respect you.
Thanks, bro.
I've known you for a long time now, and thank you for being the man you are.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.